Good Sunday morning, Northeast Ohio. D.C. to Belgium to London to Scotland to Finland. President Trump's 2018 summer tour continues tomorrow with his one-on-one with Russian President Vladimir Putin. A trip that started with the president ruffling feathers at NATO, questioning again its relevance, catching the attention of Ohio Governor John Kosich.
Many of the unilateral actions that we've taken, whether it's withdrawing from the Paris Accord, the imposition of tariffs based on what I think are flimsy grounds, the unilateral withdrawal from the Iran agreement, the withdrawal of PTT, the disaster at G7, I see the fraying of a relationship that has kept the peace for 70 years in somewhat at risk, and I'm very concerned about it. I didn't come to criticize him or level personal attacks. I am worried about the direction, the strength of this alliance, because it's important we are a strong team.
And ahead of the president's meeting tomorrow with President Putin, Ohio Senator Sherrod Brown lending his voice to the debate.
My concern is this, and I hear this from Republican senators all the time, that why is the president so hostile sometimes and calls names of the Canadians and the Brits, but then cozies up to a KGB thug like Putin? I'm concerned when the president hasn't stood up for the Ukrainians. He's pretty much said that Putin's okay in going after Crimea, what that does, the annexation of parts of Ukraine. I want the president to stand up for Americans and for Ukrainian Americans and for those parts of the world that care about democracy, not KGB thuggery.
One of the issues that has come up over the course of the president's travels has been the issue of trade and tariffs. A week ago, China imposing a 25% tariff on more than 500 U.S. imports, including electric cars, whiskey, poultry, and a particular note here in Ohio, soybeans. Soybeans are not only the state's #1 crop, they are the #1 agricultural export, with about 40% of these exported beans ending up each year in China. Now with a 25% tariff in place, that is in jeopardy. That's because rather than pay the tariff, buyers in China will now turn from the U.S. to other countries like Brazil, leaving the U.S. with a glut of soybeans, lowering the price for farmers, many of whom are just making it.
So many guys out here are almost living crop to crop, year to year, month to month.
Bernie Kosar is not only a former Browns quarterback, but he is also a soybean farmer. With around 400 acres, he knows what impact the drop in soybean prices will have on many of his fellow farmers. A just completed Ohio State University study found the hit could be as high as a 59% loss in annual farm income over a 6-year period. But still, some farmers say unfair trade issues are something that have been impacting their bottom line for years. Senator Rob Portman says he's hearing from both sides.
I'm hearing from some who say, I'm concerned about the price of soybeans, but I'm also hearing from others saying, we do need to have fairness, and we need to stand up to China and get them to open up their market more than they do now.
Many farmers like Kosar hope the attention this is creating leads to long-term solutions.
This slow pain that they've been feeling, I think, really ate at a lot of us. So they want to kind of bring this to a head and rectify it now.
Well, Bernie Kosar played his way into Cleveland's heart on the shores of Lake Erie at Old Municipal Stadium, replaced in 1999 by what is now First Energy Stadium, a place that in a couple of years could be your neighbor. A tall ship sits docked on this day where a boardwalk surrounding an 18-acre neighborhood of apartment shops and businesses will someday soon emerge north of Brown Stadium on the former Port Authority docks.
Mixed use, large residential component, and also a large corporate component.
On the fence surrounding the property, developers already advertising for business tenants.
We have a couple corporate tenants that are local and a couple that are national tenants that we're trying to attract.
While that is still down the road, construction is nearing completion on the Harbor Verandas project. 16 2- to 3-bedroom units on top of offices and retail, offering magnificent views of the lake, Rock Hall, and city beyond. Half of the units that will go for $3,000 to $4,000 a month are either leased or reserved, half still available.
We're hoping to be open by October and have people living on the lakefront in the first time in over 100 years.
Dick Pace and Cumberland Development have been working on these phases of lakefront development with the city for 4 years now.
We started with Nuevo, the restaurant out at the end of 9th Street. Now we're under construction with this project. We're looking at a new building, which we hope to announce by the end of the summer, in between Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the Science Center. And then hopefully we'll get a corporate anchor tenant out by the Mather. It's just great to be part of a legacy project like this.
And the developers say their plans aren't impacted by whatever the Browns decide to do in 11 years when their lease on the stadium expires. With Democracy 2018, I'm John Kosich. Enjoy your Sunday.